Defunding the police. Oh God, they try to take away all the police officers. I don't believe in not having police and people just managing their own self. Oh my God, our neighborhood's not gonna be safe because they trying to defund and take away and abolish the police. If you don't shut your dumb ass up and pay attention to what it is I got to say. Nessa girl, I felt the putting that I got on the line this morning to shed some light on what has become the new movement called defunding the police. What moved me to chorus about this particular topic is because I was talking to a black friend of mine yesterday, and when I spoke about defunding the police, her immediate gut response was, I don't believe that there should be no police. And I realized, okay, if she thought this, then a lot of other people must think defunding the police means removing the police. And I figured who better else to get down on this thing and break down something complex to simple terms that other people can understand. Now let me start out by saying I think from a PR, a public relations standpoint, that whoever started this movement, they should have thought of some more palatable words that don't spark feelings of fear out of people, like the word defund. I think the word reallocate is easier for people to swallow because let's face it, and I've said this before, most people are dumb. Being able to critically and logically think is a luxury that most people can't afford and don't even know that they're missing. Most people are dumb. So when you, and most of us as human beings, we live off of emotions. If something makes us feel bad, we don't do it. If something makes us feel good, we run to it. So when they hear the word defund, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. But defunding the police simply means taking a portion of the police budget and reallocating those funds to other community areas that will fix the underlying problems as to why the police has been called in the first place. Listen, last night I got into a small fender bender. A guy pulled out in front of me and I ended up hitting him. He was at fault. I called 911. They sent the police. Those of us who've been in car accidents before, if you tell them it's a non-emergency, you can be sitting there for 2 and 3 hours waiting on somebody to come. Lo and behold, about 10 minutes later, 2 little cars pulled up that said public service aid. And they were like, y'all need to move these cars. And then they handled the whole process of the report writing, the giving the man the ticket, giving us the court date, the swap of information. And that right there is a real world practical example of defunding the police. It is simply shifting dollars. Therefore, police can shift their focus to things they really should and could be doing. The defund movement calls for reducing communities' reliance on police for a number of services: monitoring the homeless, resolving domestic quarrels, disciplining students, responding to outbursts from people with mental illness, swarming neighborhoods to tamp down violence, and responding to minor complaints like someone trying to pass a counterfeit $20 bill, the accusation that triggered police to call what ended George Floyd's life. The work advocates say this could better be done by outreach workers, social workers, and community workers trained to de-escalate street feuds. That would be paid by diverting money from police budgets to municipal programs that deal with the underlying cause of crime, including poverty, inadequate housing, and poor education. And I'm here to let you know, Nessa girl, I'm 100% in favor of it. I read an article yesterday that said police officers have a very, very, very broad job. We have solicited and elicited police officers to handle every problem socially that we either don't want to handle or don't know how to handle. If you've got somebody in the middle of an intersection in a hot ass sun with no shirt on, screaming at cars and screaming at the sun and screaming at a stoplight, what in the hell is arresting them gonna do? It is obvious that this person has mental illness, but what do we do as a society? We arrest them, we throw them in jail, they spend a couple nights in jail, we put them back on the streets. Police officers are not mental health workers. Police officers are not trained to be social workers. Police officers are not school counselors. So why is it that we are sending children with disciplinary problems to police officers? Why is it that we are having people having domestic disputes because they outside husband and wife fussing at each other, non-violent, we are calling the police? We have criminalized every act of being human that we don't want to deal with. The police are called for, and it is time that we remove some of the power that we have given police officers and reimagine what a police officer's duty is. It is government's job to help the people, not get them caught up in a vicious cycle of criminal records, rap sheets, arrests, jails, bonds, so on and so forth. This issue is particularly personal for me because y'all know that my brother suffers with schizophrenia, and it got so bad to the point where my brother became one of those people who was walking up and down the street in the hot sun with no shoes on, with army fatigue in the 103 degree Miami sun. And if he was to walk past a gas station or ask somebody for something, their first response would be call the police, which has happened before. And we've had to go get him out of places because he has been arrested when being arrested was not what he needed and mental health was. So what they're saying is we'll take a portion of that budget and we will now create programs where we can have caseworkers, social workers, community outreach workers to help with some of these issues. Now, for those of you guys who still, after all this explanation, cannot get past defunding the police and you just got your mind set on the fact that no, you're against it, we need more police officers, which is another thing. That has been America's response to everything. Crime get high, let's throw more police officers. Like, let's look at Chicago for an example. There's a direct correlation between poverty and crime. There's a direct correlation between lack of education and crime and poverty. If you eradicate the root cause, the trickle-down effect will handle everything else. If people have a good job, they got no reason to steal. If people have good education, then they can pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They don't need to be policed. They need policy that enriches their lives. But going back to the statement I wanted to make, for those of you guys who still cannot wrap your head around the whole defund movement, it's been going on up under your nose for the longest of time. Where in the hell and what in the hell do you think has been going on with the money from our education system? They have been moving the money out of education and reallocating it and putting it elsewhere throughout the government. So it's already been going on. And you are a sick son of a bitch if you are able to sit here, listen to me, look me in the face, and say you are all right with them moving resources out of the public school situation or system into other areas of government when God knows our kids need some sort of future and our education in America is quite shitty. I am all for it. Statistics, reports, psychologists, community people, Congress people, Senate people, government people, community people, real people have now started to wake up and realize with the help of social media and just the world experiencing this big awakening right now that sending more police into a hot zone is not the answer. Fix what is making the zone hot. Now, I am not saying in the meantime, I'm not saying go to the hoodest of areas right now and just reduce the police. That's not what nobody is saying, and please let's not use extreme examples as to why this would not work. Obviously, this is a gradual process. It don't take, it doesn't take a year to get into trouble. It's going to take more than a year to get out of it. But this is something, if implemented now, we could definitely, in a few years' time, see changes to these types of situations. Also, this is one thing that black people, particularly lower income black people, can understand, or black people who live in the hood can understand very well. Getting caught up in the system for bogus shit, domestic quarrels, counterfeit $20 bills, things of that sort. It almost feels like they should create a league of junior police who are really social workers with a police type authority to a degree in order to deal with these types of things. I'm at the point right now where I'm not understanding why we even have police officers at goddamn schools arresting children. There's nothing that a child could do at the school level unless they bring a gun or a knife to school that will warrant them being arrested. It's not right, it's not right, it's not right. And for those of us who have children, know children, or work with children, we all know when children act out and they don't toe the line, that there is something else going on. These videos that we see of them roughing up children, so on and so forth, is horrendous. But here is the thing, right? Police officers can't be everything. They don't have all the training. They are only doing what they know to do and what they are empowered to do, which is arrest and put you in jail. They don't know how to be counselors. They don't know how to be therapists. They don't know how to be community outreach workers. They don't know how to be faith-based workers. They are doing what they know with their limited training, and we have given them jobs that really don't need to rest in their wheelhouse. Excuse me. So, for those of you guys who are having a hard time understanding what defunding the police meant, and even saying that word defund, such a strong word because it means take away their budget, And yes, technically, that is kind of what it means, but defund is a very strong word. I think what they should have said was reimagine. The word reimagine gives hope. The word reimagine, is fluffy, gives me unicorns and clouds and Skittles raining from the sky. Communities reimagined. Reimagine the police. I want us to get back to officer friendly that we saw on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. We need to demilitarize our police, and if we take away some of the calls and take away some of the responsibilities that these police officers have to handle, maybe they would have less anxiety with coming on some of these calls, and they could deal with things that they are truly trained to deal with, like people shooting up the place, people beating the shit out of people, people running out the bank, people running out the stores with bags full of jeans. So that's the type of shit the police need to be doing. But around here, somebody's crazy walking up and down the street, somebody's at the park, having a barbecue, and they don't need to be having a barbecue. That is not shit police need to be dealing with. I'm going to tell you something. One thing I do like about the city of Miami, and it's been this way since I've grown up, and I'm cracking the joke here because this way of thinking has been born out of something very bad. But Miami, when I was coming up, was the only place your ass could be driving with a suspended license, no insurance, and still don't get no ticket, because the police had bigger shit to worry about. They was around here worried about motherfucking home invasion, worried about drug trafficking, so on and so forth. They was like, child, I do not have time to be standing here with you for 45 minutes, getting your car towed and all this stuff. Just get your car fixed and don't let me see you again. You know what I'm saying? Those are the types of things, non-violent, simple domestic, simple traffic, small little infractions, domestic quarrels. Let folks who went down to Florida State University and got their degree in social work deal with those types of things. And then maybe too, we can pump more money into the social work system. We can get some more highly qualified social workers, because the field already does not pay much. And it's unfair for those people to be overworked and underpaid dealing with the types of things that they have to deal with. However, they are the ones trained to deal with it. And in closing, let me mention that you must get more hours in training for cosmetology school than you must to become a police officer. Hairdressers spend more time in training than police officers, yet we want to offload every societal abnormality to police officers. Does that even begin to make sense. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think. Are you for or against defunding the police? Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will call y'all later. Bye!